Hello everyone and welcome to the show. I am your host Misty Doan and I am joined by the fabulous Liz.
Hello.
Welcome to the show today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. As always, thank you so much for being here with us. I'm really excited about today's project. My kiddos and I, we love picnic blankets. We take quilts with us to baseball games and softball games and on, picnics. Obviously, we spend a lot of time in the summers outdoors, and we also love yard games. So that is kind of what inspired me to make the quilt that you see behind me today. I'm calling this an easy tic-tac-toe quilt, but we also decided to use, as you can see, some I Spy fabrics. So
love it.
It's extra fun. We play I Spy on road trips and when we're just hanging out at the park. So this has a lot of meaning to me, and it's really quick and easy. And so we're calling it the Easy Tic-Tac-Toe Quilt. And to make it, you're going to need one package of 10-inch squares. And we use this great I Spy collection from Timeless Treasures. It's just got a whole wide variety of fun prints in it. And you're also going to need 3/4 yards of sashing. That's what's going to make this tic-tac-toe board here. And so this is the big, wide, black sashing that we have in between all of our blocks. You're going to need another 3/4 of a yard for your inner border. That's your white border. And then 1 1/4 yard for the big 6-inch outer border. It goes together really quick. So let me show you how we're going to make these big 16 patches that make up our grid here. So since we're working with a package of 10-inch squares, we're going to use the easy 4-patch method to create 4 patches that we'll then put together into our 16 patches. So I have a few of these loose. I think I'm going to use this kind of oceany print and these cute bumblebees. So we're going to set these right sides together.
And you may have seen this before using charm packs, but layer cakes work the same way.
It works the same way. Any size squares that you have, really, you can just cut up your scraps and make it work in the same way, because I Spy fabric is really just a wide variety of different prints that you might already have in your stash. So don't be afraid to cut those up too to make this. It's a great scrap buster. So like I said, we have these 2 10-inch squares right sides together, and we're going to start by sewing our 1/4 inch seam on opposite sides, just 2 sides. So let's take this to the machine. And we can flip it around and go down the other side. Go. So this is one of those instances where having our 5 by 15 inch ruler is really helpful, because we can just lay our 5-inch ruler along the edge and know that we're going to cut this right in half.
Snazzy.
So let's just make sure that you guys can see this. Our seams that we sewed are right here, so we're not cutting through the stitches, we're cutting in between them. So let's go ahead and cut that in half, and then we'll press these open. And I like to press to the dark side so that my seams will nest when the time comes. So there's that one. And you're just going to do this to your entire pack of 10-inch squares. So you're just going to match them up 2 by 2 and go ahead and get them all to this point.
And do you want to do this mostly lights and darks, or you just kind of going for it?
I tried to mix it up, so I at least had, mediums and darks on some of them, because a lot of these are more mediums than true lights or darks. We have some that are obviously lights and darks, but there's just a wide variety in here. And so I just tried to make sure that all of my sets have some contrast. That's a good question.
Okay.
But ultimately, I don't think it really matters.
They're all going to go together.
It's all going to go together, and it's just going to be fun. So I have one more set that I sewed together here that I'm going to go ahead and cut, just so we have some variety, because we want this to be nice and scrappy. So I've got this one, and this is like a recycling print and some footballs. So let's press these too. And like I said, you would just sit, and I chain pieced all the way through my pack of 10-inch squares and just sewed all the way down one side and then clipped and then sewed all the way back the other way. So it made it really, really fast. And so now that we've got 2 different sets together, because once you've done this, you want to kind of mix it all up so that your 4 patches are different, I'm going to put these right sides together. And this is where that seam is going to nest. And so I have what I decided was my dark on the top here, and then on the bottom of this one, so that in the middle, my seam just kind of locks together in place. And now we're going to sew on either side this way, intersecting that seam that we took earlier.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and do that. Make sure we keep everything lined up as best we can. This is one of those patterns that's pretty forgiving though, as long as you can catch it in that 1/4 inch seam.
And sometimes those pinked edges just get caught in the seam and don't worry about it.
Exactly. There we go. And so now, just like before, because we haven't cut this way and we haven't taken any other seams in the middle, this still measures 10 inches across. So we can still use our 5-inch ruler and cut this in half.
I love easy measuring.
I know. It makes it so simple. And so then when we open these up,
voila!
We have some scrappy 4 patches that you can turn any which way, and you get a lot of variety. And so by doing this with your whole pack, you're going to get, basically you'll only have 2 of the same 4 patches that you'll have the chance of using again. And so that makes it so that when you put them together into these 16 patches, you've got lots of variety, and you're not getting the same prints next to one another.
So you can always turn them as you go.
Exactly.
Nice.
And so I have a few of these that I have already sewn together. So you can see here, I've got some sewn together there. And then let's use one of the ones we just made. And I think this one's the same, but you know what? This is a different print, so I'm just going to take this apart.
Scandalous.
So scandalous. Don't try this at home. Or if
totally
you do, you might have to sew it back together again. But it worked out fine this time. And so then I've got 4 different prints. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these 2 together by laying them right sides together and taking them to the machine.
And these still kind of nest in that middle seam, right?
Exactly. This is one of the places, depending on where you want to put the different prints, that you could end up with your seams not necessarily going the right way, but it's really easy to just force one to go the way you want it so that it all lines up in the end. So I just take a few stitches and then check that area where they need to nest. And sew past that point and then line up my end. There we go.
So you're basically putting together a giant 4 patch of 4 patches.
Exactly. Yep, to make a 16 patch block. So then I'm going to iron this one this way. And since my seam's going this way on this one, I'm going to press this one the opposite way.
Nice.
And then we can just lay these together and sew our big block. So let's do that. You just want to get started and then check and make sure everything's lined up.
And we super love the double duty that the I Spy fabric gives, but you can totally see this happening with any fabric, any layer
fabric.
cake.
It would be beautiful in a floral or anything like that. So if you're making it for someone, you can totally use a print that reminds you of them, and it's going to be gorgeous and fun no matter what collection you're using. But I think for a picnic quilt, which is what I was designing this for, I Spy is really fun because it gives you dual purpose when you're hanging out with your family and you can sit there and play that game together. So here is, whoops, let me finish pressing this. Here is our big 16 patch.
Woohoo!
Just like so. And you can see how these fit 3 across, 1, 2, 3 by 3 down. We just have that giant 9 grid to create our tic-tac-toe board. And we've gone ahead and sashed in between using our black fabric. And remember, this is 3/4 of a yard that you need for it. And so this is a 4-inch sashing that we put in between our blocks and then a 4-inch sashing strip this way. And so it gives it this great tic-tac-toe board look and goes together so, so fast. And then again, this is a 2.5-inch inner border and a nice big 6-inch outer border. And for the backing, I just used this fun print.
Oh, neat.
So, and this is a 108 that I used, which made it really quick and easy. But I just think this is so fun. And I wanted to go ahead and give you the idea that since it is kind of a tic-tac-toe board, maybe you have like cornhole that we call out here, where you have those bean bags already, or any of us can whip up some easy bean bags, and you could easily have a giant yard game of tic-tac-toe where you can toss the bean bags and hope you get your marker where you want it and have a great fun outdoor game as well. So I think that's a really fun idea, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this quick and easy tutorial on the Easy Tic-Tac-Toe quilt.
Yep.
We will see you next time.
Bye.